Arreglo Radio is a platform where young professionals share their stories of ups and downs, lessons learned, and professional expertise, giving you an insight into their lives. So join us as we sit down with some incredibly talented people right here on Arreglo Radio. What's going on, good people? Welcome to Season 2 of Arreglo Radio. And as always, it's the host with the most, man like BK here. Pew pew, all the pew pew, all the vibes. And for this, the first episode of Season 2, we are joined by the one, the only Malik Sayadi. What's going on, brother?
Hey, DK, thanks for having me, man.
Dude, DK. That's...
BK, fuck. We're gonna have to check that again.
Nah.
BK, sorry, brother.
It's all good. It happens. But low-key, I kind of feel like Donkey Kong sometimes. Like, you know, you just got that chaotic energy and you just want to huck barrels at people. Like, fuck you.
I feel you, man.
But yeah, so what's going on, brother? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, like you said, my name's Malik. Born in Calgary, lived in BC most of my life. Consider myself a Vancouver local. Currently working for Nude Beverages, and just happy to be here.
Thank you for coming out, and again, thank you for joining us, because we kind of want to pick your brain a little bit, like get to know you as a person, get to know what you're about, and is something always on fire? It feels like something is always on fire. But anyway, we just want to kind of see like how your mind works a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So, let's start off. Like, how did you end up like at Nude? Like, is it like, was it just like a happenstance thing, like, or?
Yeah, so my journey for working for Nude began at university. I was maybe 2 or 3 days into university, and I met a man called Jaron Meche. And Jaron was alumnus of the fraternity that I later ended up joining. He really took me under his wing.
Day 3?
Day 3. I was 17. So I was 17 years old, and I met this. He was 27 at the time. He was just coming do his rounds at the house, and we hit it off, and we kind of developed a big bro, little bro relationship really quick, and he took me under his wing. I ended up working tons of odd jobs for him throughout university, helping out with this or that. Pretty much any opportunity he offered me, I just jumped on and tried to help out. And then when I graduated uni, my girlfriend was living in Australia at the time, working as a diving instructor. And she had been there for 6 months. I graduated and I went down to go spend 4 months with her. So we did 4 months in Australia together, spent every dime I had. We came back from traveling, so I hit my boy Jaron up and I say, hey bro, like, what you got going on right now?
Yeah.
And he says, oh, me and my buddy Julius Makarowitz, who's the CEO founder, he's like, we just started this company. It's called Nude Vodka Soda. And I said, sweet, how can I help out? And so I came on as employee number 1. My interview was, we go and there's this grocery store called Fresh Prep in Kitsilano, and it's on West 2nd. And my interview was a boxing class with Josh Cameron. He's a pretty famous boxing guy, and Julius, to put it in perspective, he's 6'7", big guy, and so I'm doing this boxing class with him and Jaron, and I'm obviously working myself, you know, to exhaustion, just trying to impress these guys, right? This is my interview, and so we're going. I puke like 3/4 of the way into the class, and then just working my ass off, right? Trying to show these guys I have work ethic. I have zero work experience related to food and beverage at the time. And then at the end of the class, they're like, okay, sweet, now it's time to spar. And so I'm already gassed.
You're joking.
Yeah, I'm already gassed, and so then I end up.
Hold on. These fully grown men watch you like like huck up a lung,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're like, all right, cool, let's go toe to toe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all under the supervision of like a very experienced boxing coach, and you know, he's making sure everything's good. We got all the proper gear on, and
That's awesome.
and all that. It was unreal, man. It was cool, and it really spoke to just kind of, you know, the company culture that we built, centered around hard work and fitness, and you know, just grit. Yeah. So that's how I got into that's how I got into Nude.
Awesome. So, since you were essentially like the first employee, like what's
technically
your
I was an intern.
Okay.
Technically I was an intern, so I started there. I took minimal startup, right? So I said, you know, pay me what you can. I just want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so technically I came on as an intern, and then from there I became marketing manager, and from there I became brand manager, and that's currently my title is brand manager.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
See, that is an awesome story.
Mm-hmm.
So, essentially, all of this started out because you happened to come across someone that happened to be on UBC campus checking in on a fraternity house.
Yeah. It's pretty much exactly it.
That is wild.
And also too, like, you know, I think the fact that I took steps to ask Jaron how I could help him.
Yeah.
Many other times before this opportunity came up.
Yeah.
Built a level of trust that when he really went all in on something, and decided to, you know, start his own company alongside his partner Julius. Yeah.
Awesome.
That went a long way for him to have the trust to introduce me to Julius to have the opportunity to work for their company.
Absolutely. So then, like, okay, so like let's kind of get into like that trust building, like within a startup, because I would imagine that trust when you're just starting out, like it's a small business, you're not really sure if you have like proof of concept and all this other stuff. Like, how pivotal was building that trust, like within that core group? Because
it was huge, and I mean that's why I say I started on as an intern, because you know, they were, I don't want to say hesitant, but, you know, cautious of who to bring on in those early days, because those early days are so important for what you're building. So, you know, Jaron and I had a working history. We had known each other for years at that point. But Julius, the founder, you know, he really required me to show that I had what it took and that I was there for the long term. And so I just really tried to, you know, take opportunities as they came, wear whatever hat they needed me to wear. I had to swallow my pride a lot, do jobs I honestly I thought I was too good for a lot of the time, take pay that I thought I was, you know, too good for, and yeah. So I think really in the early stages of joining any company, you just want to suck up your pride and do what's asked of you, especially if you're not the founder or one of the founding members. Like, you kind of have to trust in their vision and do what you can to help them pursue their vision, and hope that you know, the rewards will come later.
Absolutely. So then, in terms of like growing pains, then, because you said that you were effectively an intern, then you're heavily involved in like marketing and branding. Like, how challenging was that for someone that's essentially fresh out of uni and you're being thrown into what's essentially like large-scale corporate marketing? Like, how much of a jump was that?
It was pretty gradual.
Really?
It was pretty gradual. Like, I had the opportunity to build out a lot of the different processes and techniques that we were using to get our product to market. So in food and beverage, specifically in beverage alcohol, like, our main goal in marketing was cans in hands. So, you know, putting the can in someone's hand, and letting the product speak for itself, letting the quality of the product speak for itself. So what that translated to was, you know, liquor store tastings, events, parties, trade shows.
Okay.
So that was what excited me the most,
Yeah.
and that's really what I took on, especially in those early days. So, we built a team of 250 plus brand ambassadors just in BC. Normally, companies would hire an agency to do that for them.
Yeah,
We decided to do it in-house.
Ooh.
So that was a big thing that I took on, and then finding the right events, staffing them, finding the right parties to sponsor, finding the right trade shows to be a part of. There's the obvious ones that are liquor focused, and then there are the non-obvious ones, such as for us a really successful one was the gluten-free trade show.
Oh, really?
And so, it's not really a liquor trade show at all, but because, one of the benefits of Nude is that it's a gluten-free product that celiacs can enjoy comfortably.
So you're kind of able to just like use that as like essentially like a marketing tool.
Yeah, exactly, and just reach your target consumer, which is the goal of any marketing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess to answer your question, it wasn't too hard because things did grow kind of on our time.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then, okay, so you spoke about like bringing on 250 brand ambassadors, going out to like a bunch of different events and all that other stuff. Like, was there an emphasis on finding events that were aligned with the brand specifically, or were you just trying to like get the brand out there and see what takes, and then you pursue that lane?
We were open to a variety of different events.
Yeah.
We would even go to like whiskey trade shows and whatnot. At the time, Nude was such a unique product.
Yeah.
We were the first, white can vodka soda in Canada.
Yeah.
It wasn't like today where you have, hundreds of different vodka sodas or hard seltzers or, all these different low calorie, ready to drink beverages. So it was super unique, and so we just wanted to put it in as many places as possible.
Right.
But at the same time, we stayed true to the brand and our image within those events. So just because an event portrayed themselves in a certain way, we wouldn't necessarily mimic the vibe of the event. We would always stay true to the brand within that event, which helped us stand out. Sorry. We'd just be like a big white booth everywhere we go, no colors. At Beverage Alcohol, there's previously there's tons of like very bright colors, kind of in your face.
I've noticed that,
and just minimalism has kind of been built into the brand.
Okay, so you actually touched on like essentially what I was going to ask next was the minimalist aesthetic like a way for you to differentiate yourself from everything else on the market, or was it just something that just was like, it's like the product is simple, it's essentially like low cal, gluten free, so we might as well just make it like super simple and super
it's built into the name, man. So it's built into the name, so it's Nude, right?
Yeah.
So it's free of sugar, free of over branding, free of sweeteners, artificial, free of bullshit, our company culture is even nude of all these unnecessary things that you just don't need in your life. So it's all built into the name, and that's kind of where this is all Julius, our founder, that I can't take any credit for, but yeah, it's built into the name.
So Nude isn't just the brand name, it's the actual brand philosophy.
Exactly, and a lot of people, it's a fun name, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people just think it's a sweet name. It's nude, it's sexy, right?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you want to drink it, right?
It's like,
but
send them nudes, baby,
exactly. No, but it was very, I think thoughtfully planned into the whole company.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I never even realized, but now that you said it, it's like, damn. You marketing cats are slick with your shit. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so back to you then a little bit. So do you think that your uni experience like prepared you for the sector, or was it just something that
100%, man?
Yeah?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I was telling you before we got the cameras rolling that I studied an interdisciplinary Bachelor of Arts at UBC. I did a 5-year degree, and I wouldn't say that there's any direct correlation between the work I do now and what I studied, but just the amount of things I learned throughout that process, how to say yes to the right opportunities, how to say no to the right opportunities, all the social networking I made, it was invaluable. And I definitely recommend that, any person with the opportunity to pursue formal higher education should at least try it out. It might not be right for everyone. A lot of people can't afford it as well. But if you are blessed enough to have the opportunity, it's something that I hold very near and dear to my heart, and don't think I'd be where I was without it.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So then do you think then it's valuable to essentially figure out what you want to do during uni, or should you just try to keep an open mind and just,
if you're the kind of cat that can know what he wants to do with his life when he's 14, 15, and you can go into uni with a clear vision, I think that you're gonna be very successful in doing so. At the same time, those are formative years of your life, and what you think you might want to do can totally switch up. Or you might meet a girl or a guy, or you might,
things might just happen.
Things might just happen, and so I think that if you can have a vision going into uni, power to you. I did not. And I think even if you do have a vision, it's important to keep an open mind, because you don't want to have your blinders on thinking, I want to go into international relations and this is all I can do. I have to work for the UN, etc., etc. But, I end up, selling beverage alcohol, right? And it all works out for the best. And I also think that a lot of the goals people set for uni might be best for later in their life.
Really?
I think that, at least for me, now that I'm even just a little bit older, it's you have all these aspirations to change the world when you're going into uni, right? Especially for the arts students. And it's why not get some business experience first? Why not get some life experience first? Why not, learn how things work properly before you go out trying to change them?
Interesting. So then, in terms of the challenges that you've had to face, because again, university is not easy at all, but neither is life, regardless of whatever path you choose. So what's your philosophy on challenges and obstacles and hardships? Do you see it as something that just needs to be dealt with, or do you see it as a massive chance to learn some shit?
Hard work. I think hard work can just really solve pretty much any challenge you have. I think people are too easy on themselves a lot of the times.
Oh, really? Okay.
They'll be stressed out about doing this or that, and at the same time they're spending 2 hours a day on Instagram, or you know what I mean, or they're not working out, they're not following a diet, they're not taking care of themselves at all mentally, and not that you have to do any of those things to be a hard worker, but I think often, especially young people, are a little bit too easy on themselves when they're looking at how to tackle the challenges. I'd say look inwardly too. Focus on yourself before you're trying to solve someone else's problems or something like that.
Absolutely.
So I think as long as you're working hard and focusing on bettering yourself, then your challenges generally, especially as a young person, sort themselves out.
Absolutely. Okay, so I just cracked one of these, the Nude gins.
Gin lemon. It's fire, right?
When did these come out? Because I feel
People have been sleeping on the gins for a minute.
Dude.
Yeah. The gin came out over a year ago. I can't remember exactly.
A year. This shit's been out for a year, and I'm only tasting it now.
Maybe even 2 years now.
Man, I'm mad at myself.
And they're really good. They perform within the gin category. They perform very well.
I'm so mad at myself right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, since we're talking about categories and all that other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about like Nude's position in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So just educate me. Like, when was Nude launched?
Nude was launched in 2017.
Okay.
First white can vodka soda in Canada. Shortly after, other brands followed suit, and we really did have a first-to-market advantage. Last year in 2020, we were the first RTD company in BC to sell 1 million cases.
So RTD is
ready to drink.
Okay.
Yeah. So the category that Nude belongs to is ready to drink. It's previously known as coolers, but specifically now it's RTD. And we were the first company in BC to do 1 million cases.
Holy shit.
So that's 24 million cans in a calendar year. Shortly after us, our biggest competitors also hit that milestone. So it does speak to just the general growth of the category.
Yeah.
But we were the first ones to do it, which was a huge milestone for us as a company.
Right.
To date, in terms of market share, we're still a very dominant player in BC, but of course you got a lot of other big brands coming in and eating up that market share, as well as lots of other smaller brands. And while they might have a small little bit each, as a general whole, it does eat into market share as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was actually just gonna come back to that, because I've noticed that I'm seeing more RTD variants on shelves literally almost every other time that I walk into a liquor store.
Yeah.
So how is the market grown? Because if there are that many new or brands that I have previously never seen before popping up, surely it's exploded, right? Since 2017.
Yeah. I think the category has experienced 50% or more growth year over year since 2017. And as a result, it's kind of cannibalizing into beer and import beer specifically, taking away. So people are switching from beer to RTDs.
I can see that.
As well as, so, a liquor store that would previously have had 8 beer doors, 2 RTD doors, it's now more like 6 and 4 within their store. So everyone's coming out with a hard seltzer or a vodka soda or a gin soda, or there's tons of different variants, and it's great. For us, we're happy to see new players come into the game. All boats rise with the tide. So
okay, so Nude is still the big boy on the block essentially, right?
In BC specifically, we're less developed in the eastern provinces. So the new competitors, especially some of the ones with really deep pockets, make it a little bit more difficult to maintain market share out east. But in the west, we're definitely still
the big boys.
Still top 3. The White Claw, Nude, and Neutral share the top 3. We're top. I'm not sure the exact data right now, but last time I checked, we were selling 24,000 cases more than White Claw. So we're still holding that number 1 position right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then, in terms of figuring out a way forward, obviously I'm not asking for a specific brand strategy because that's completely in-house.
Sure.
But in terms of ways to deal with the explosion in competitors, but also the market penetration issues in the rest of Canada, are you guys then gonna slightly tweak the brand image to kind of fit what's going on out there, or are you gonna stay true and just or is there pressure to conform or at all?
The strategy is just to stay true to the brand, stick to our guns. Tons of the competitors coming out are half sweet. They have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
That's generally what most new market entrants are doing, and so we're gonna continue to try and dominate the zero sugar, low cal market.
Yeah.
And just keep offering a quality product that's
Yeah.
free of sugar, free of sweeteners, free of artificial flavors, and just premium
quality stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, so is there a reason why these newer brands are essentially coming into the market with sugar in their product? Is it because
that's what White Claw did? So White Claw has a couple of grams of sugar in there. I think it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And they're obviously a beast down in the States. They've done an amazing job with their marketing as well.
Yeah.
And so people are just doing what they're doing, really.
Interesting. So then in terms of like,
same with the skinny cans. Like
Yeah.
we wanted our can to be similar to like a traditional beer can.
Yeah, okay.
So that it was, it's definitely a product maybe more geared towards the female consumer, but we wanted to feel comfortable in a male consumer's hand.
So that was a conscious decision.
Yeah. Whereas, White Claw went with the sleek can so that it feel more comfortable in the female consumer's hand.
Really? So that whole play was a gendered play, essentially, where it's like,
more or less. I mean, I
probability.
know lots of guys that feel comfortable drinking the sleek cans as well.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that
Huh.
is taken into consideration for sure.
Interesting. Never would have thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then in terms of like, so let's say, like, I want to break into the market, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there any, like, regulatory steps? Like, how would I do it?
It varies province to province.
Okay.
So there's not like one federal, and this applies to the U.S. as well. Like each state or province was going to have very specific regulations in terms of what kind of, legal loopholes you have to jump through just to get your product made, and then more legal loopholes to sell your product.
Right.
And then as well, there's all sorts of compliance in terms of how you can market it and present it and etc. Yeah.
So it's essentially just like figure out what's required for production in your like home territory, then distribution in whichever market you want to get into.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely, anyone who's looking into it, I'd say start local. Start local, start small. Build the local following, and you can. There's tons of different places and communities all across the country where you can go and you can can your own products in a very small scale, and you can do that under like a craft license or different kinds of like personal brew licenses. And then once you've got a formula down that you like, you can kind of go and speak to a co-packer and see how you could scale that.
What's a co-packer?
Co-packer is someone who makes your product for you. So if you don't want to invest millions of dollars into infrastructure to actually get the cans going, you go to someone who already has that in place, and you say, this is my special sauce. I want to make 1 million cans. You reserve line time. You pay them a cut, and then you end up with a finished product, which then you'll send, in the case of BC, to the Liquor Distribution Board. And the Liquor Distribution Board will warehouse and store your product for you. A liquor store makes orders and the liquor to the LDB, and the LDB then ships to the liquor stores.
Oh, so that's how it works. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can just like can your own product, like walk into a random liquor store with like a case of it and say hi.
It's different for beer. Let's say you had your own brewery or something, you can actually deliver your own beer. But for anything dealing with the spirit, it has to be warehoused at the Liquor Distribution Board.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
It's super complicated.
It sounds like a literal nightmare.
It's above my pay grade too. We have an amazing operations team that handles all of this, and our COO Maddie. She, similarly to how I learned on the fly, she learned all of this stuff on the fly as well. And one of the awesome things about Nude is, right from inception, we've had almost 0 stockouts, which is a huge thing in the liquor industry, is when people can order your product. So we've done a really good job of never stocking out our retail partners,
Right.
which has built a lot of trust in the brand and just made us seem professional right from the get-go. But yeah, the whole operations side of things is crazy. And
It sounds crazy.
in any business, man, in any
Yeah.
business. It's one thing I learned early on that it was part of the business I did not want to do.
You're like, nah, I'm good. Just
Yeah. I'll get the cans in hands.
like I'll make it look pretty and I'll make sure people buy it. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the back end stuff, like I'm good. I'm chilling.
That's right, man.
That's actually wild. So in terms of like, so then like my next question then becomes, it's like, how difficult was it like to grow like the brand and the team? Because okay, from the outside looking in, I look at Nude and I'm like, it doesn't pop. It doesn't like it. Yeah, like I guess in like 2018 when I first started seeing them on the shelf, I'm like, that's a weird can. But like I didn't really go, oh, okay, cool. I think I might have like read it once or twice, and I'm like, oh, like I have no idea what the hell hard seltzer is.
Right.
But then when I tried one, I was converted. I'm like, okay, I'm a believer. And then I started seeing like all the ads and stuff. But like,
That's just it, man. You just touched on it. It's a quality product. So in terms of the marketing, our focus was to get those cans in hands. And then, once people tried the product, they knew what it was all about. Ideally, one of our brand ambassadors or myself or our CEO or head of sales or someone else from the company was at this event or what have you, and they were able to share some of the story.
Right.
And then just let the product speak for itself, right? Another huge part of that was Julius, our founder, built into the company that he wanted to give back. And what that meant to him was sponsoring local animal rescue organizations. So a portion of all sales from every can sold go to support local animal rescue organizations within that community.
oh really?
So we sponsor, different animal shelters all across North America.
Yeah.
And that has really helped our brand stand out from other brands. Being able to share that story is part of the challenge, and I guess that's where the real work comes in. But yeah.
So now to like a very important question when it comes to like cans and stuff and like the environment. Like, what's Nude's approach to being environmentally conscious?
Recyclable materials, no waste, making sure that we're offering the best kind of processes impossible in terms of how we make our product.
Right.
It is tough though, like when you're making selling 24 million cans a year, it is obviously does take its toll on the environment. There's no kind of skirting around that, but we do what we can. We have tons of practices in our office in terms of building an environmentally conscious culture.
Right.
But in consumer packaged goods, it's something that we kind of rely on the infrastructure of the greater community to make us environmentally conscious. BC has a fantastic recycling program, but if the consumer decides to throw his can in the ocean and it sits at the bottom of the ocean, that ultimately we have no control over that.
Yeah.
Right. And then as well, we have to obviously weigh the cost benefit analysis of pursuing different materials altogether.
Yeah.
Like it has to be the product has to be viable to go to market.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great question, man. I definitely personally care about the environment a lot. Something I'd say I'm passionate about. It's something I was passionate about all through school. My girlfriend actually runs a company called Be Kind. She's trying to solve the climate crisis.
Oh, really?
Through her company. So it's definitely top of mind for all of us, but it's tough, in a consumerist society. It's tough to really you don't want to be hypocritical, right?
Yeah.
So it is tough, but I do think that everyone I work with at the company respects the environment, is looking for ways for that we can always do better, ways that we can always become more efficient. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, look, like, it's no secret that trying to be environmentally conscious when you're in this particular sector is always going to present its own challenges. But I firmly believe that as long as you're putting your best foot forward and you're doing everything that you can, like, you're doing the very best that you can, because at the end of the day, like, people are trying to eat, people are trying to, like, get businesses running, people are trying to create jobs and all that other stuff. So it's like finding that balance is always going to be a perpetual struggle and challenge.
Totally.
So I mean,
it's a great question though. It's important, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
it's good to touch on it.
Absolutely. So then, like, in terms of like getting into like Nude, like, let's say like I'm fresh out of uni, right? And I'm like I'm looking at Nude, like I believe in the brand or whatever. Like, how difficult is it to get a job at Nude?
I mean, we definitely look for the best talent available.
Yeah.
The company's growing super fast. This time last year, we maybe had 15 employees. I think we're over 40 now.
Oh, wow.
So most of that growth is happening stateside.
Okay.
Nude's available in I think over 30 states now. We just launched in Australia.
Oh, wow.
You can get us at Costco in Australia. So we're in every province in Canada. So it's a fast-growing company, so there are tons of opportunities.
Right.
At the same time, it's becoming more and more competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I applied to Nude now, if I would have gotten the job.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to get in on the ground level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all of my colleagues are top-notch people with great work ethic. But the first step is just asking. We're a local company, so you can find where our office is pretty easily, and you can just come knock on the door, quite literally, and say, hey, look, or you can slide a resume under the table, or hit us up on LinkedIn. We're pretty active on LinkedIn, so I think if we do have job postings, the company, not myself.
Yeah.
If we do have job postings, they'll probably show up there. Or, but we've got a really diverse team, and we got one of our operations managers from Spain.
Yeah.
So he came here. He was here for like 2 weeks before he ended up finding a job at Nude. I think that's the story. I don't know. He'll have to fact check me on that one. But yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, just come knock on the door, I guess, if you're local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So, I guess, like, so this is my favorite part of the podcast. Like, I like to ask completely random questions and kind of get in people's heads and shit, right?
Sweet. Yeah.
Because
let's do it.
Because I'm a walking chaos monster. I love chaos. So, would you rather? Okay.
Nice. Haven't played this in a while.
Let me actually think about this. Okay. Would you rather get punched by Mike Tyson once a month?
Where?
Does it matter?
Yeah, of course.
It's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson to the
in his prime.
Body. Mike Tyson prime. To the face. In his prime. Is it to the arm? Okay. For the sake of the question, we'll say it's to the chest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to the chest.
Yeah.
Or would you take a tackle from JJ Watt in his prime once a month?
I'm taking Mike to the chest.
You're taking Mike Tyson to the chest in his prime.
JJ Watt, dude. I'm like the same size as Mike Tyson. At least I can look him in the eye as he does it, bro. JJ Watt's a beast. I'm taking Mike to the chest.
Really?
To the chest? Yeah. Hell yeah. JJ Watt, full tackle, will break me in half. If I'm in full pads or something, am I in full pads? I don't know. I'm taking Mike to the chest.
That's up to you to decide, because I would assume that if you're taking a full-blown tackle from JJ, like, you're going to be like fully kitted out, right?
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I'm taking Mike.
It could have been worse.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. All right, so before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share?
No, man. Just I'd say if you're interested in joining a company, just ask. If you want to make something of yourself, go do something. Always take the approach of helping people. Try and be as selfless as possible, and opportunities will come.
Absolutely. So for all like the young entrepreneurs or like up and coming brand managers, because you're obviously in a position of pretty high repute.
Thank you.
Like what, like if you had to summarize like all your experiences and give advice, like what would it be? Like what advice would you give someone just coming up?
Meditate and work hard.
Meditate and work hard.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. So if people want to find you on your socials, where can they find you?
At Malik Sayadi on everything. Yeah.
And obviously follow Nude.
Yes, sir.
Check him out.
Nude at Nude Beverages, www.nudebeverages.com.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming through, Malik. And this conversation was awesome. Yeah. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first episode of season 2 of Arreglo Radio. And as always, take it easy and be kind to one another. Peace. We are Arreglo Entertainment, and our podcast Arreglo Radio is a platform where we take a deeper dive into the lives and minds of young professionals in Vancouver. Through engaging and personable conversations with our guests, we gain insight into their professional expertise, ideologies, and really dissect what makes them tick. Our guests come from a wide spectrum of professions, from accountants to makeup artists, musicians to entrepreneurs. We aim to really understand and showcase what drives the next generation of business, social, and community leaders. We believe that providing a more relaxed atmosphere that feels like home, coupled with some light banter, presents the opportunity for better conversations that don't feel staged. Arreglo Entertainment is a group of former international students looking to fully understand Vancouver, its people, and culture. And coming from this perspective, we believe that we are uniquely capable of having these in-depth exploratory conversations.